Hi, I'm Nick and this is the TBT channel. Welcome to this video, um, which is entitled Should I Buy a Diana 56 Side Lever? But could just as equally be, should I buy a Diana side lever? Or maybe even, should I buy a side lever? They're an unusual animal. Side levers are different to other air rifles. I love them. I've always loved them. I think the first air rifle that I desired more than life itself was a Webley Tracker, the one with the false moderator on the end. I think I've talked about this before at great length in the Grattan catalogue. There was something about the way it looked that was just absolutely brilliant. But what I didn't realise at the time was just how unusual the action is. A side lever, as the name implies, let me just lift this bugger up. Whereas most air rifles, either you knock the barrel down, cock it, load it, return the barrel, or there's some kind of lever underneath from the front or from here and you bring that down. Symmetrical designs. This one has a lever on the side. There's a peekaboo. And there it is. It's on the side. Now, it gives it a kind of Phil Oakey from the early 80s look of lopsidedness. But I like that. In use, I found when I was younger, when I used to lay in muddy fields waiting for rabbits to come out, things like that, a side lever was the easiest action to actually cock and reload in the prone position. And maybe that's why I like them, that and the Grattan catalogue. But today I am looking specifically at the 56 and more generally at the 48, 52 and 54. It's a beast. All of the Diana side levers, they're not built like tanks because tanks aren't this heavy. This is ridiculous. But the 54 and the 56 have a semi-recoilless system, which means when the gun is fired, the action moves backwards on a sled inside of the stock to absorb the recoil. So to all intents and purposes, when you're firing it, it feels like there's no recoil. But there is, but it happens and it isolates from the stock, so you don't notice it, which is a very good thing. It was the same system that was used for the Fine Work Bow 300 back in the day, that did 10-meter target rifle. It's a very good, very reliable system. Also, the Air Arms TX200 SR, SR standing for semi-recoilless, a very similar system. Now, the system works by when you cock it, you draw that back and that pushes the action back inside of the stock. And when you fire it, it pushes back inside the stock and doesn't move the stock itself. I'm going to go into that more detail with that when I do the strip down tuning and rebuilding videos, because this gun, as it stands at the moment in front of me, doesn't work. It won't cock. That's why I've got it here. The gun shop have given it to me to repair. See, that's just not cocking. It's just holding on the anti-bear trap. And forward it goes again. So I'll have to show how that system works in those videos, but I'll also show you how to adjust that system. So a semi-recoilless side lever air rifle. Should you buy one of these? Yes, if you're mad. And when I say mad, I mean if you wake up in the morning firmly believing that you're a banana, this is the gun for you. It weighs more than a small church. It's far too heavy. It is ridiculous and not cheap. These are an expensive rifle. It's very well made. You'll have seen me harping on in other videos about the 52. Again, it's a massively oversized, very powerful, very heavy, very well built air rifle. But it takes a certain kind of someone to say, do you know what? That HW97, that TX200, nah, mate, I want one of these. But if you are that kind of person, good on you. I mean, why not? Why not? Well, reasons why not. First of all, this is developed for around about 24 foot-pounds. This one's in 177, which means it's going to be supersonic at that speed, which means accuracy out the window as a pellet comes back through transonic. So it is overpowered even for itself, even in a country where you can have that power. The 2.2 version, it makes a little bit more sense if you're going to run it at high power. If you're in the UK, the 52 and 48 and 52, absolutely, I do not recommend one of those for you. It's too much gun for 12 foot-pounds. But the 52 carbine's got to be one of the best looking guns ever made, in my opinion. But when you look at the 54 and the 56, because it's got the sled system, you can get away with some of that ridiculously slow lock time because the action's moving in the stock. So it's going to take away a lot of the rocking horse effect you're going to get with the slow movement of the piston. You bear in mind, that is, I mean, from there on onwards is the front of the action. The barrel is actually from there to there, so it's longer than it looks on this gun. But the whole action, I mean, crikey, the action itself there isn't far off the size of an HWA. It's HW30. It's a lot bigger, but this looks huge and it feels huge. And the reason I'm not picking it up much is because of the tendons in my shoulder. I can't lift this gun. I certainly can't shoulder to fire this gun. So you would have to be mad if you're in the UK to buy one of these because of the price, because it's so inappropriate for everything. But I love it. Absolutely love it. And if you're brave enough to buy one, like I say, good on you. We need people like you. We need your kind of special in this world. It is brilliant to look at. Maybe you prefer it on the other side. If I turn that around, there you go. Look, you don't have to look at the lever. That's another thing. If you get one of these, if you don't like one side of it, turn it around. There's a whole different side over here. It's a completely different rifle. It will outlast anything else. But really, if you want a side lever, and a side lever to me is a fantastic format, and I really think it's great. For the UK, this gun is not great. When I take it apart, I will show you how to make it a little better. But really, this wants to be running around about 20 foot-pound for comfortable, and it will go up to 24 if you really want it to. So if you want a side lever, there are other options. But for the life of me, I can't think of any that are still made. I mean, there's some hokey Chinese things, the little ones that look like a very stunted and genetically deformed M16 and that kind of thing. But they're very low powered. They tend to be plinking guns and they tend to bend in the middle when you cock them. I think the real contenders for these are not the Tracker. I love the Tracker. But the Tracker was a 10 foot-pound rifle at best, and not particularly accurate because of the system. Instead of loading the pellet directly into the barrel, you put it into a tap and then close the tap, and everything needs to be lined up perfectly for it to work properly. And even then, you've got lost volume in the tap, and it's creating an awful lot of problems. And it's lower powered. The early air arm springers, pre-TX200, the early air arm springers were all side levers. You had the wood-stocked ones, which were the Camargue and the Camsin and the Borer, and then you had the same actions. They were basically a different barrel length, but then you got the same actions in the military plastic stocks. And there was the Combat with a really short barrel. There was a high power and a firepower. One of those was a multi-shot. I can't remember which, but I think I've pretty much had everything apart from the Camsin. That's the only one of those air arm side levers I haven't had, and I adore them all. They're not the greatest thing in the world to shoot. They're not the most accurate thing in the world to shoot, but they're a hell of a gun. They're just really nice to have. So I'm digressing with this. I really am. Should you buy a Diana side lever? Yes. If you're in a country where you're allowed to have a Diana side lever running at the power you want it to, then by all means get one. if you're going to be looking at the 54 or the 56 on the sled system, where the problems with the recoil that are created by the oversized piston and the fact you have to slow it down so much to get it under 12 foot-pounds make a 52 and 48 horrible to shoot. If you're looking at the 54 and the 56, you can reduce the effect of that by having the sled system. But it's an awful lot of money, and there are other choices. It's kind of like, I don't know, on Top Gear, Clarkson bangs on about it. You know, somebody's got £200,000 to spend on a supercar, and they think, no, I'm not going to have a Ferrari, I'm not going to have a Lamborghini, I'm going to get some rickety old thing made out of canoe plastic in a shed somewhere that nobody's ever heard of. It takes a certain kind of person to think outside of that box, and that's where this gun lives. It is outside of the box. It's blue sky thinking. It's running it up the flagpole and seeing it. It's all of the phrases that we hate. That is this gun, but it is simply amazing. And I'm going to be shooting it once I've got it working. The next videos are going to be taking it apart, finding what the problem is with this one, rather comedically. I don't know if you're aware of the F Pentagon stamp. If you buy a gun in Germany, it has to be stamped with an F in a pentagon to show that it is below the German limit, which is around about 5.5 foot-pounds. Could you imagine one of these at below 5.5 foot-pounds? It would require the weakest spring in the world, and I don't even know if it's possible, but this, I've just realised, has got the F stamp there. The guy who bought this actually bought it from Germany, so when he received it, this was at 5.5 foot-pounds. I don't know what power it's running now because it doesn't work, but that's going to be my next mission, is put it together, take it apart rather, fix the issue, fit one of our maxi kits into it, one of our Magnum kits, and then rein the Magnum kit back so it doesn't go over 950 feet a second in 177. And that's going to be interesting in and of itself. So please join me for that. Please like, subscribe, and hit notifications. Then you'll get made aware of when these videos come out. If you are considering buying a Diana 56, then keep taking the meds. It's going to work in the long run, and watch out for them pink elephants because they'll get you. They're dangerous. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will speak to you all again soon. Goodbye.